morning, everyone. I'm Jackson Snyder. I come from a Republican family on one side and a Democratic family on the other. Politics in my family have always been the same old story, even after my parents separated. Fighting with each other after Bush got elected and fighting again after Obama got elected. You can believe on the day that the Trump and Russia allegations broke, things reached a boiling point. I would go to my dad's house and I would hear all about how the Democratic deep state was trying to set up Trump for impeachment. I went to my mom's house and I'd hear all about how Trump and his tapes and records of meetings with Russian diplomats were being covered up. In short, I've heard just about everything from either of the red or blue viewpoints on whether Trump did or did not collude with Russia argument. Me having no political affiliations and being politically neutral, I decided to take the initiative and learn the facts for myself and pursue them for my own sake. The majority of the students in the class have recently just turned 18 and reached the voting age. With the 2020 presidential elections just over the horizon. With the nation's current political status, it is vital to be fully informed to make an informed decision. Starting with the proven timeline of Russian contact gathered by John Krusel, a political researcher for PolitiFact. In January of 2014, a Kremlin-linked agency known as the Internet Research Agency that attempted to spread distrust toward Democratic candidates and American political system as a whole, as they used a fake social media spam account that showed favoritism towards Russian policies. Almost one whole year before Donald Trump even announced his run for office. On in the March of 2016, George Papaloutos, a member of Trump's foreign policy team, informs him that he can set up a meeting with high-ranking Russian diplomats. Roughly 1 month after this, Papaloutos receives information that there is, in fact, a high-ranking diplomat that wants to have a meeting with Trump. The informants claim to have dirt on a political opponent, Hillary Clinton, in the form of thousands of hacked emails. Now, this possibly being one of the biggest incidents of collusion to date. Collusion being an unlawful agreement between two parties that consists of either the spreading of information that was illegally obtained or the spread of information that was obtained without the knowledge of the other party. Okay. Although the meeting was not recorded, the most widely corroborated version by Trump's staff tells us the Russian attorney was to deliver the damaging information on Hillary Clinton. And if Trump did agree to release the Russian diplomat's information, it could lead to a charge of collusion, which is illegal cooperation meant to deceive, defame, or discriminate against others, any of which are impeachable offenses. Around 1 month after the meeting in July of 2016, thousands of private documents on Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Convention's deliberations were dropped on WikiLeaks, a website used by hackers to upload illegal information. Additionally, in July of 2016, on Trump's campaign associate and foreign policy advisor J.D. Gordon successfully lobbied Congress indirectly in favor of Russia during their invasion of the Ukraine, having Congress choose not to provide any aid or relief to the Ukraine at the time of war. This is very atypical of how the United States handles its foreign policy. Typically, we're the first country to provide aid for a country under invasion, especially one that is against one of our biggest rivals at this point. That is atypical. These events were immediately recognized as suspect by the head of the FBI, James Comey, and so began the public investigation of ties between Trump and the Russian government in the late July of 2016. Following this, in July of 2016, Donald Trump announced in a public outspeak, during a press conference, Russia, if you're listening, I hope you can find the 33,000 emails that are missing. I think the press will mightily reward you with your efforts. This occurred within hours of Russian hackers breaking into Hillary Clinton's email, obtaining hundreds of private documents containing deliberations by the DNC. In November of 2016, Donald Trump was elected president, being inaugurated on January 20th of 2017. Months after Months later, the FBI Director, James Comey, informed the public that Donald Trump was in fact under investigation for his potential ties to Russia on March 20th. The director was then fired a month later by Trump, who claimed the firing had nothing to do with the allegations. The potential abuse of power and hiding of information from the American people has always led to disastrous results. Taking a look at Watergate, one of the biggest political scandals in our nation's history, it shows us an example of what happens when the public loses trust in its government. Let's say you had an older sibling that you looked up to. Your parents said you could always trust them. You invite a classmate over one day to study, and the two of you leave your bags in the front room. Your classmate leaves and calls you later saying that there's money missing from his bag. You confront your sibling as they were the only other person in the house at the time. Your sibling says they had nothing to do with it, only for you to later find the money in their room. You would most likely no longer be able to trust your sibling after just one incident, as well as doubt your parents who said you could trust them. In this analogy, Nixon stands as the sibling and your classmate as the American political process. Nixon's committee stole information illegally from a rival party, and the scandal had a devastating effect on American politics, said Rick Ralston, a writer for CNN. The following year, approval ratings for Congress dropped by 7%, and the approval ratings for the presidency dropped by up to 29%, according to an article by the Washington Post. Americans no longer trusted their government on a fundamental level, and a lack of trust has sent us downwards, and this lack of trust has sent us on a downward slope of public investment since the 1970s. Support for voting, which is vital for the continuation of our democracy as a nation, has been damaged. Under Article 19-1 of the Bill of Rights, every American citizen has the right to information since 2005. You have the ability to ask any questions from the government, or seek any information, inspect any government documents, or take example of any government material. In short, information being withheld from you about a publicly elected office is a violation of your civil liberties. As Winston Churchill once said, "The truth is inconvertible, malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but there it is." Thank you.